Hey everyone, just hopping on for a quick note of introduction. I just wanted to let everyone know that I actually recorded this episode last week. I recorded it on Tuesday, January 20th, to be specific, so a week ago. And I'm mentioning that because, as you will soon see, I did actually feel an impulse to spend the beginning part of the episode actually talking a bit about the state of the world, the current state of the world, and how to possibly navigate it. As I'm sure you are all aware, a lot has happened since then. A lot has happened this past weekend. Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Alex Pretty in Minnesota. And it goes without saying, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot for all of us. It's a lot for everyone. And I just wanted to say this up top because obviously I did not speak to this specifically in the first part of this episode because it hadn't happened yet. So I just wanted people to know that in case people were wondering, is there a reason why he's not mentioning this by name? Is he avoiding it in some way? It just literally had not happened yet. Having said that, I do think it's interesting that I did feel an impulse to spend the first 15 minutes specifically talking about the state of the world. And in listening back to it, I think everything that I said still stands. So I'm not going to say much more at this point because then I'll just be repeating myself. Obviously, if I had recorded it after this weekend, it may have impacted some of the tone. It may have impacted some of the energy behind it or what came through. But like I said, I think everything I said still feels true and still stands. Beyond that, since I am here on the mic for a moment, I will just take this moment to truly acknowledge the enormity of what's happened this weekend, the enormity of its impact, and just to articulate one more voice that says, it's devastating. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. It's infuriating. It's frightening. It's real. This is what's really happening right now. And again, I don't want to say too much because I'll end up just saying it again in the episode, but just to really offer the invitation for people to take care of themselves, to go slowly, to let yourself be in process with this. And, it's my hope and my intention that this podcast episode can be at least one small space where some of you can perhaps connect more deeply to the truth of what you're feeling in a way that feels supportive, connected to yourself and to others, and grounded. And yes, so the first 15 minutes, we're getting a little bit into the state of the world. Back half hour is about Karen Huger, of all things. But you'll see, as shouldn't be too surprising at this point, there's a way that it all threads together. And as we all know, that's ultimately the point of this podcast is, as I say in the opening, exploring ways that we might all be connected and all these stories are possibly connected, and to hopefully find the humanity in everything that's going on. Because that's the point of this whole gig, is for us to be human and to be in our humanity and to learn and grow from our humanity. The last thing I'll say before I turn it over to the episode as recorded is just, I mentioned this at the very end, but I really mean it, you guys. I do love to hear from you. So, feel free to DM or email me if you want to share anything that's come up for you in response to this episode or anything that's going on. Like I said, I love to hear from you. Feel free to let me know. Obviously, I cannot respond in depth to every message that I receive, but I will acknowledge having received it, and you will be seen, you will be heard, and you will be witnessed. With all that said, I hope you're all taking care of yourselves. Hopefully enjoy the episode, and we'll see what wants to happen next on this unexpected ride. All right, you guys. Hi, and welcome to Deep Dive with Jamie Stein, where we take a deep dive look at all things reality TV, pop culture, and the world at large. I'm an intuitive and an empath. which means I pick up on the thoughts, feelings, and energy percolating in other people and the world around me. I believe there is meaning waiting to be found at every turn if you're willing to see it. So join me as we dismantle everything from trash TV to high spiritual concepts and learn more about ourselves, each other, and how we're all connected. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Dive with Jamie Stein. Whew. Well into January, well into 2026. And I know there's a lot going on out there. To say the least, there is a lot going on out there. There is a lot going on. And I know people are feeling it on very, very deep levels. So I just want to acknowledge that up front. I want to acknowledge that before we get into today's topic. Just to very simply and clearly say there is a lot happening out there right now. We're deep in the unknown. We're deep in a process that remains to be unseen. Remains unseen in terms of where it's headed, where it's taking us, where this is all going. We are deep in the forest, and we cannot yet see the forest through the trees. So this is the painful or difficult or uncomfortable or scary liminal space or space between points. And we don't know where it's headed, and we're all in it together. And like I said, I just felt an impulse to take a moment to acknowledge that. And just to say it is okay to have feelings about this, and it is okay to have numerous feelings, different feelings, conflicting feelings, or to not even know how you feel about it. It's okay to feel stuck. It's okay to feel paralyzed. It's okay to feel helpless. It's okay to take your time. And it's also okay to acknowledge what's happening. And, the last thing I'll say about this for now is for anyone who might be wondering, what can I do, or how do I navigate this? How do I walk with this in a way where maybe I don't feel so powerless, or I don't feel so helpless, or I don't feel so stuck, or I don't feel so confused, where you feel able to watch the movie as opposed to getting lost in the movie, meaning that the movie doesn't overtake you. It doesn't overtake your nervous system, that you feel you can watch and walk with it in an empowered way. I simply invite you to let yourself actually feel your feelings around whatever is happening. I think a lot of times people have a tendency to collapse in the face of feelings, especially if there's numerous feelings all at once. That can feel overwhelming to a lot of people. The feelings can almost feel confusing and like they're bottlenecking. And so what people choose to do is to kind of just numb out, shut them down, look the other way, run the other way. Or else sometimes people have an image that if they let themselves feel their feelings, it's going to be too much. The feelings will overtake them. It'll be like opening Pandora's box, and they'll get like sucked into some abyss. I deal with this with clients all the time. People get so scared to look at what they haven't been wanting to look at because they're scared if they do, somehow it's just going to overtake them and annihilate them and they won't recover. And yet that's never the case. It's never the case. Feeling our feelings, it's always a gateway and a doorway to deeper connection with self, deeper clarity. It always feels good on the other side. That's why you have a good cry. Yes, it's painful and sad in the moment. Once you get the good cry out, You stand up, you feel better, or maybe you fall asleep, and then the next day you feel better. The dust settles, the fog lifts. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Emotions, the etymological root of the word emotion is energy in motion. Emotions, feelings, they are literal energy inside our body. They are currents of energy inside our body. That's why we cry when we're sad. We laugh, when we find something joyous or amusing. We yell and stomp when we're angry. It's literal energy that is in our body that wants to move. And so when you are willing to feel your feelings, you are letting energy move through your body that wants to move through your body. And you are cultivating your deeper energetic flow. And when you cultivate your deeper energetic flow, you become available to even more flow on the other side of it. So if you are blocking your emotions, collapsing on your emotions, numbing your emotions, you are literally blocking energy that wants to move through your body. You're blocking the flow that wants to move through you. You are therefore blocking the way the universe wants to flow towards you, because as within, so without. Everything starts with our relationship to ourselves. If your inner flow is blocked, more than likely your outer flow is going to be blocked. So we're always invited to just feel our feelings and to let them take us somewhere. So in the case of what's happening in the world, what does this mean? What does this look like? I think it can be so fucking simple. Our minds always complicate things, you guys. Our minds complicate things. Our minds think it has to be this big, bad image of I don't even know, again, some interminable, endless grieving process where you're channeling all these intimidating, scary, powerful emotions that overtake you, and then you never come out of it and you're lost in the abyss forever. It's like, no. It does not have to be that complicated. It doesn't have to be that hard. I think we're actually afraid of how simple this can all be, because again, then we're flowing. And I think for a lot of us, flow is scary because we were never supported to learn how to be with our own flow and to feel safe, to have boundaries, to protect ourselves, all the things, right? So in coming back to this question of what it might mean or look like to start letting yourself feel your feelings in relationship to what's going on, it could just be so simple. It can be as simple as literally just set aside 15 minutes. It could even be less. It could be 10, 5, whatever. Turn off your fucking phone, sit down, get quiet, put one hand on your heart chest area, one hand on your stomach, feel your body, simply breathe. And simply let yourself create room and space for whatever you are feeling in response to what's going on in the world. Maybe you speak the feelings out loud. Maybe you speak them inwardly. Maybe you just start receiving images in your mind's eye or vibrations in your body. Maybe you have a somatic response like crying. Maybe you don't. It's going to look different for everyone. It's going to look different at different times, but it's just this notion of create conscious time and space to simply sit down, be with yourself, and invite the feelings in. Trusting and knowing that it's okay to feel them and to let them flow. If you're more of a writer, you can sit down and just write them out. Again, just set aside 15 minutes, you guys. 15 minutes, just pen to paper. You can time it. I'm giving myself space and permission just to put my most immediate feelings on the page. And if that wants to start with fuck you, fuck this, fuck that, then that's where you start. If you just want to write a scream on the page, then that's where you start. And then it's going to take you somewhere else. And then it's going to take you somewhere else. And then it's going to take you somewhere else. And again, the reason why we're doing this is we're honoring the truth of our emotions, our feeling, our energy. We're not shutting down. We're not turning a blind eye to where this takes us. We're staying engaged. And then on the other side of that, more than likely there will be inner wisdom about what next, what now. How do you want to participate from a genuine place of inspired right action? How do you want to participate? How do you want to show up? How do you want to play your part, if you want to play your part? Not from a place of reactive hysteria or default fear or knee-jerk desire to win or to stomp someone out, but from a place of wholeness, self-connection, integration. The reality of the situation is a world of people who are acting out from blocked nervous systems and blocked feelings. That ain't gonna help anything, you guys. It ain't gonna help anything. It's just gonna add fuel to the fucking fire. So we can't control what's happening around us, but we can control whether we're willing to take responsibility for our own emotions and feelings in response to it. The more people that are connected to their feelings, the more people that are willing to be connected to the truth of feelings, the more people who are willing to stand in the fire of their feelings, the more people who are willing to be in their, I'm using the God word. I don't mean this in a religious way. I just mean this in a source, higher intelligence, spirit way, whatever your language is, but in a God-given way. It can only help. And, the last thing I'll say about all this from a macro perspective is, so much, I think, of what we're watching play out in our nation and in the world right now, so much of the violence, the aggression, the needless loss of life, the vitriol, the division, the hatred, this is in such large part stemming from individuals and a collective that have more than likely not been supported to be in touch with the deeper truth of their own feelings. Their righteous rage, not their destructive rage, their righteous rage, their deeper vulnerability, the grieving they've not let themselves feel, all this primal life force energy that gets blocked and then it comes out in distorted ways because you can't kill energy. And that's the last thing I'll say about this, you guys. I mean, you can look the other way from your own feelings all you want. It might provide you temporary relief. It might provide you a false sense of safety in the conscious mind, but it is never going away and it is stored in your body and it's coming out some other way that is likely to blow up in your face down the line. Or if not blow up on your face, keep you, again, from your inner flow, which I feel keeps you from your outer flow, which keeps you from the life you are meant to live. So again, you guys, I know it can be overwhelming. I know it can be scary. I know there's so much going on right now. One place to start, the simplest place to start, the most basal place to start is just coming back to self, getting clear and honest about how you feel. And it can be as simple as simply sitting down with yourself for 15 minutes, not tuning out, not numbing out, not collapsing, not looking the other way, and just simply getting honest with how you fucking feel in response to all this, letting those voices move through you, letting the energy move through you. Then go take a walk, get a good night's sleep, see how you feel the next morning. There's an invitation here for all of us to not look the other way. All right. So, yeah, I just noticed I'm feeling myself right now. I'm feeling the feelings moving through me. I feel the sadness. I feel the fear. I feel my heart. I feel the love. I feel creative possibility. And I just feel myself here with all of you. All right. So having said all that, I have had an impulse for a while, and I'm suddenly hearing that the impulse of today's topic is not entirely disconnected from what I just explored. in terms of what's going on in the world and our part in it, which should be no surprise since this is all connected, right? But yeah, I've had such an impulse for a really long time to drop into Karen Huger, specifically towards alcohol. I think, as most people listening to this know, Karen has found herself in a big old drama related to drinking. She was arrested for her 4th DUI last year. Again, as a lot of us know, she did not take a plea deal. She went to trial. She was found guilty. She's been put in jail for a year. She was released recently. And I believe the Real Housewives of Potomac is going to capture her release in the season finale. I believe she's going to be sitting down with Andy for a one-on-one interview. I believe she's coming to the reunion. So Karen's coming back around. And I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity then to explore her possible unconscious relationship to alcohol, because it's gotten her in a big old mess, and see what might be there on a deeper level. And yeah, as far as everything I'm talking about, I have to imagine there's some deeper feelings that Karen has been on the run from. Again, that's energy, right? Energy is going to find a way to come out. In Karen's case, it seems like energy has come out towards a secret, or not a well-kept secret, but a not so well-kept secret relationship to alcohol. And maybe just once again mentioning the broader intention of, decoding these stories. It's a reality show. It's not quote unquote important in the large scheme of things, in the large scheme of what's going on, but in the place where, if you choose to believe there's a higher creative intelligence connecting all things, the Karen Huger drama, the Real Housewives of Potomac drama, it has a connection to the political drama, to what's playing out right now in our nation, in the government, with immigration, with loss of lives. So I'm just going to drop in. I read somewhere, I believe, I forget where I saw this or read this. I think it was maybe Charisse talking about this, Charisse Jordan, or maybe one of her fellow cast members, but it was this image of Karen. It was someone saying that Karen has this habit of going to a bar in the afternoons and getting drunk by herself. And that image just stood out to me so starkly. Just that image of Karen alone at a bar getting drunk on her own. And so I thought I would just drop in to Karen toward that drink all alone at that bar in the afternoon and see what might be revealed. So I got my picture of Karen up on my computer here. And with all that said, I'm just going to take a moment to drop in to Karen Huger towards alcohol. Oh my God. It's like immediately. So as Karen, as I look at this drink in front of me, my heart immediately tenses, embraces, and I just hear the words, wow, okay. I need to slow this down for a second. So, wow, okay. I hear the words, I'm so scared, 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 I'm so scared. Okay. Oof. Yeah, I knew this was going to be connected to what I was just talking about, because there's so many feelings coming in at once. It is that bottlenecked feeling. And it's like there's so many voices coming through at once. And I don't know what to do with all of it. It's kind of what I hear Karen saying. I don't know what to do with all of it. I'm so scared. Somebody help me. The reason why I slowed down at first was because the fear is so fucking deep inside me as Karen. Sorry. I really have to go slowly here. I'm feeling something so vulnerable and tender inside Karen. It's this part of Karen needs to go so slowly. It's almost like, as Jamie, I'm even wondering if we should even keep going with this, because it's just, it requires so much gentle care and slowness. And it's so striking to me because, as we all know, Karen, she puts on airs, right? She's the grande dame. She puffs up her chest. She talks a very big game and leads, she's like a peacock. She struts like a peacock, and she leads with a certain pretense of independence and power and outspokenness. So it's really interesting to feel this very scared little girl inside of her. Very scared. Very tender, very vulnerable. And it's almost like what I hear as Karen is, I can't even let myself feel, oh yeah, this feels true. I can't even let myself feel how vulnerable this feels, because it's almost like, as Karen, if I acknowledge it, if I acknowledge how fucking vulnerable and scared and tender this like teeny tiny little girl inside me feels, if I acknowledge it, whew, like that's the moment I'm getting this image of this like tender, vulnerable little girl, almost as like this little sprout, this little seedling sprouting from the soil. It's like a blade of grass with two little like leaves off it, two little green leaves. It's like the smallest little sprout, and it needs to be like incubated. And it's just this image of like a foot coming in and just stomping it out. And that's what it feels like as Karen. It's like the second I even acknowledge there's this vulnerability in me, well, that's when I'm in danger of like something just coming in and stomping it out. So I've got to look the other way. I got to do everything to look the other way. So I immediately just heard the words like, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. And the slowness, the pause was, as Karen, I felt scared to even say the words I'm scared. It's like the second I say the words I'm scared, it's like I'm acknowledging the fear. If I'm acknowledging the fear, it means I need help. And I don't trust the help is actually available. So it's like, as Karen, it's like even acknowledging the fear, acknowledging the reality that I'm scared of something. There's a vulnerable little girl who's scared of something and needs help. That very acknowledgement will be the thing that destroys me or stomps me out or kills me or puts me in danger. So I just got to look the other way. I got to ignore the fear, ignore the vulnerability. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's like, it feels like this informs, like, it's almost like what I'm feeling is like the degree to which Karen inflates herself is directly proportionate to how much fear she has inside. And it also makes sense too, because, the grande dame, as we all know, it's like, I'm laughing, right? Because there's an absurdity to it, even though there's a sharpness to Karen, and there is actually like emotional intelligence to her and a wisdom to her. There's also kind of this lack of self-awareness of how ridiculous she comes off a lot of the time in her pretentiousness. And it almost is like a kid playing a part. Like a little girl dressing up in a costume and playing the part of what she thinks the grande dame is. So that's why I'm saying it almost makes sense that there's this like little girl in her, because it's almost like this little girl is the one who's like wearing this ridiculous costume. Like something hasn't fully grown up there because it hasn't felt safe to be seen and heard in a deeper way. Okay, so let me just stay with this. So I'm going to drop back in. Yeah, again, so I'm just hearing the words, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. And if I stay with this, I'm just hearing the words, I need so much help and there's no one to help me. I need so much help and there's no one to help me. I need so much help and there's no one to help me. I can't do this all on my own. Why won't anyone help me? Where's the help? I need help. I'm doing this all on my own. I can't hold this up for other people anymore. I can't hold this up for other people anymore. I can't be the one to help others. I'm the one who needs help. Yeah, it's feeling like I have to be the one to hold it together for other people. no one holds it together for me. And I'm so fucking tired of it. Like, I'm tired of being the one who holds it together for everyone else. I'm tired of the weight of the world being on my shoulders. I'm tired of being the one who carries the burden for other people. And it's almost like what comes to me most immediately, it's like even on a more conscious level, like being here at this bar and having this drink, it's like where I get to put the fucking weight down. It's where I get to take a fucking load off. It's where I finally get to kind of like sink in and surrender, drop my guard. You know, this feeling in Karen like she's holding it all together for everyone else. And if I let my guard drop for one moment, the whole thing collapses. Yeah, it's like I'm carrying the load for everyone else, but there's no one to help me. And then if I drop the load, everyone else collapses. And if everyone else collapses, then I'm even more screwed than before. I'm trying to feel into the nature of the help that she maybe hasn't needed. And I'm just so drawn to, I'm so drawn to this notion of like all these voices want to come through. And it's like I literally experience them as like, yeah, literal sort of like different voices, different threads that want to like move through her throat and come out of her mouth. Did you hear how my voice got like stuck when I was saying that? And if I follow this impulse to really stay with this language of all these voices want to come through, it's almost like as Karen, it's like oh wow, yeah, even saying this brings up feelings in me. I'm hearing voices, like voices want to move through me. Voices want to move through me. And I'm seeing them, when I said threads, I'm seeing them as these like white wisps, like these white wisps of thread. And it's like, I trust this. It's almost this feeling in Karen of like, I'm really sensitive. I'm really intuitive. And voices want to move through me. This is becoming a spiritual conversation. It almost feels like voices from the past, like voices from the lineage, like voices want to move through me. Like it's almost like I'm suddenly getting the sense that Karen is someone who I don't know what her relationship to spirituality is. I believe she goes to church. I don't know what her relationship to religion is, her sense of spirit, her sense of God. But it's like, if I trust this, it's almost like this feeling little girl who had like spirits speaking through her or wanting to speak through her, like voices of the past coming through her. Oh yeah. As I say that, I just sort of get this image of like Karen as like a little girl or a young woman, like grabbing her head and shaking it back and forth and feeling sort of overwhelmed by all the voices that want to move through her and speak through her. It's really interesting because like what I'm suddenly aware of right now is, well, there's a couple things. I mean, what I'm really aware of right now, I almost hesitate to bring this in because I know it's sort of, it's been joked around a lot about. It reminds me of, for anyone who watched the arrest footage, the interrogation footage, you know, there's that kind of notorious moment. Karen's saying a lot of things in her drunken state. And there's one moment where she says something about being Thomas Jefferson's concubine. And again, people have like made fun of it. It's been the butt of jokes, but it's interesting because I remember when I saw, yeah, it's so funny. This is coming back now. When I saw that originally, the way that it actually landed with me is actually very much like what I'm saying now. It's like, oh, she's picking up on something, you know, from the past. I want to be clear. I'm not saying she literally was Thomas Jefferson's concubine. I'm not saying she was channeling Thomas Jefferson's concubine. Obviously she was drunk, but I do, you know, look, they're called spirits for a reason. I always say this, like, I'm a lightweight, so I don't drink very much. One cocktail, I get tipsy, but I've experienced this. I get tipsy. Stuff starts coming out of me. Like I start getting all this psychic information. I feel like it can kind of lubricate you. And I remember when I watched that, again, it wasn't that I was like, oh, okay, I trust that she's literally channeling Thomas Jefferson's concubine. But the way that it landed with me was, oh, I wonder if there's some relationship here between Karen and like ghosts of the past, like ancestors of the past. And where it brought me and where it's bringing me to now is the way in which Karen does have this relationship, even in her conscious life, to heritage. Like it's ingrained in her family's history. Like, what's part of what's notable about her family is that they bought the land and the plantation where her forefathers and mothers were slaves. Like they bought that land, and that land is important to them. And like, I didn't actually watch the spinoff, but there was a whole spinoff about what we're going to do with the land to honor the land and to preserve the land. I also know, obviously, we've seen Karen take very seriously kind of being a steward for Surrey County. Again, a connection to the land, a connection to the past, a connection to heritage. So you see this even in her conscious life. Oh God, as I'm saying this, I just realized my toes are totally like tapping up and down in almost kind of like an excited, alive, almost frantic way. So that's kind of my indicator. Like something's happening for me energetically. Like my hands are suddenly moving. You could probably hear it in my voice. I'm getting animated. There's something here that feels really alive. Oh, so this is information, right? Like, so if I trust everything that's coming through, if there are spirits that want to move through Karen, well, okay. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, it's happening right now. My energy is getting hijacked. This is the overwhelm, right? This is the overwhelm. So, okay, let me just slow this down. This is so funny. It's like, if I'm tracking this right, we see there are clues in Karen's conscious life right now where there is some sort of sacred connection between her honoring the past, heritage, lineage, voices of the past. And so what I'm possibly getting off all this is that Karen might have an even deeper relationship to this, where the voices of the past want to move through her, whether she's like literally a medium who can channel spirits, or I mean, guys, there's so many different ways that this can look, but I'm feeling this capacity for Karen to be deeply connected to the voices of the past and being a conduit for being the voices of the past. And what it feels to me like, and this is why I was talking about like the animation, is like these voices are coming through fast and furious. Like they're like knocking at the door being like, my turn, my turn, my turn, my turn, my turn. And that's the image of like all these voices barreling towards her throat. It's almost like, it's like 15 different people trying to get through one small doorway, and they're all clamoring for their turn. And I don't get the sense that they have no ill intent. It's just that they're ready for expression and they're excited. And they're excited to work with Karen, to move through Karen for expression, for the greater healing of whatever, wisdom and medicine they want to bring the current day. But what, bringing this back around as Karen, if I'm the sensitive little girl and there are all these voices vying for my attention and they're loaded with information, and, these are, I mean, again, I get this, like these these particular voices as they're moving through me actually feel quite buoyant and almost, I want to say, fun, which again kind of makes sense. Like she's fun, she's funny, she's a diva, she's fun. But if I'm a little girl and I don't know what's going on, and I don't even have conscious awareness of all of this, and there are all these sort of voices from beyond, like fighting for my attention, and there's no support for this around me, like nowhere I can turn to say, help, I need help. I mean, again, I want to be clear, like everything I'm talking about right now likely wasn't even conscious. Like I don't even know that this was ever operating on a conscious level inside Karen. I'm not saying there was ever a point in young Karen's life where she was aware, like, oh, voices from the beyond want to move through me and I'm overwhelmed. I mean, maybe I'd be curious to talk to Karen and see if she, if she's had experiences of feeling like she's getting messages or signs from beyond, or if there've just been ever like really strange, like synchronicities in terms of spirit. But like this could be operating on an unconscious level where, especially for someone who's as sensitive as Karen feels like she is to me, like we pick up on things even if we're not consciously aware of it. So if she's kind of like this sensitive little girl and there's all these voices vying for her attention, And then she's sort of looking around, being like, I've got nowhere to go with this. I've got no one to talk to about this. No one's going to believe me. No one's going to understand how to work with this. And actually, okay, there's a sort of almost like a deeper level that I'm feeling now as I'm sort of tapping into her as a little girl. It's almost sort of like, I don't know. It's this feeling like the adults are too preoccupied with themselves. Like they've got their own stuff going on. It doesn't feel like her. I don't know. Like I don't get the sense that there's like a ton of like chaos or anything like that, but it just sort of feels like the adults, they're barely like keeping themselves together. They're trying to figure their own shit out. And it's almost like this feeling like I can't bring this to them. There's not like they're lost in their own little dramas. They can't help me with mine. And so as Karen, it's like I'm kind of overwhelmed with everything that's coming through me. And so I got to kind of figure this out on my own. And I'm scared to figure this out on my own. So let me just kind of put this to bed, you know, and then let me not know how much fucking help I need. And let me pretend like I don't need help. Let me pretend like I've got it all together. Let me pretend like I've got it all figured out. Let me pretend I'm like the grand fucking dom. And so then that's where this posture comes in, right? It's like, I'm the grand dom. I'm the one who helps others. I'm the one who keeps it together for others. It's almost like this self-appointed role, like it's on me to help everyone else. I wonder to what degree it's actually true. You know, it's almost like it feels like this self-appointed role. Like Karen tells herself, everyone needs my help. But I wonder if it's true. I wonder if it's just a story she tells herself so that she then can stay busy helping everyone else. Because if everyone else needs help and she's the one who's got to hold it together for them, well, guess what? It's a really convenient way to never need or know the help that she needs. I'm the one holding it together for other people. I'm the one with the burden on my shoulders. I'm the one who's got to hold it together for everyone else. It becomes a convenient excuse for if there's no room for me to put my guard down and to just collapse, well, guess what? I never have to fucking collapse. And I never have to know how much help I need. And I never have to confront my deep fear of being overwhelmed by all these voices that want to move through me. So let me hold it all together for everyone else. Let me act like I've got my shit together. Let me peacock throughout the world. Let me do everything I can to avoid this fear, these voices that want to move through me, the help I need. But then I'm going to that bar in the afternoon. I'm sitting down in front of that drink. And this is the place where I can finally put my guard down. This is the place where I can finally ease off a little, where I can put down the perhaps self-appointed burden of responsibility of holding it together for everyone else. Now, of course, though, it makes so much sense. Of course, I got to be drinking when I do this, because if I put my guard down, that fear is going to come up. You know, that fear that I'm trying to avoid is going to come up. So I need something to fucking buffer it. I need something to crowd out the voices. So what an intricate little web. I'm scared. I feel helpless. I need help. There's no one to help me. So I've got to outrun the helplessness. I've got to outrun the fear. I tell myself a story. Everyone else needs help. I become the grand dame who's responsible for helping everyone else around me. I suffer under the pressure of feeling I'm responsible for everyone else and holding it all together at all times. I go to the bar to have some me time where I can finally put down the self-appointed pressure of holding it together for everyone else. I fucking drink to buffer the original fear and helplessness that I was avoiding. I'm helpless. I need help. I outrun it by helping others. I'm scared to know how much help I need. I outrun it by helping others. I am so fucking scared of how helpless I feel. I am so fucking scared of letting these voices through me. I'm so fucking scared if I need help, there's no help available, and then I'm overtaken by these voices. I will never ask for the help that I need. Yeah, so if I just piece this all together, if I trust what's coming through, I feel Karen as this very sensitive, intuitive, spiritually connected, deeply feeling young girl and then woman who has a very possible connection to voices from the past, voices from the other side, voices in the lineage wanting to come through her, that there's a life task work for her, letting the voices through for the sake of their good and the good of the people of the present, never having support for this part of her, feeling overwhelmed by the voices, needing a lot of help, and scared to ask for it because the help isn't available. So if I need help and it's not available, if I acknowledge I need help and if it's not available, then I just get taken down. So this is all about the willingness to ask for help. The need to ask for help. And if I trust the information, if we decode Karen's drama, it's the invitation to surrender to the parts of her that need help, which again, it's so perfect, right? It's so on the nose. It's like so many people had questions. It's like, why didn't she take the plea deal? Like, why was she peacocking to the very end? Like, why couldn't she just admit she has a problem? And it's like, she doesn't, that's the fundamental basis of if you're, surrendering to being an alcoholic, for example, it's like, I have a problem. I need help. It is the last thing Karen wants to do is to say, I have a problem. I need help. It feels life or death to her. She doesn't, on some level, believe the help is actually available. So let me just peacock to the end. And it feels like the invitation for her here, the sacred invitation, is for her to finally ask for help and to acknowledge that she needs help and to get the help that she does in fact need so she can surrender to her deeper vulnerability, surrender to her deeper sensitivity, and surrender perhaps to the channel, to the medium, to the vessel for the past that she is actually meant to be. All right, you guys. So it just feels to me like the theme of the day is helplessness, the willingness to ask for help, your relationship to needing help. It's funny, again, in terms of like drawing parallels and in terms of peacocking, I think for a lot of us, we currently have a commander-in-chief who peacocks, right? Who puffs up his chest. You could definitely make some energetic parallels between someone like Karen and someone like our president in terms of bluster, in terms of a part played. And, I don't know a ton about Donald Trump, but I do recall, I believe, hearing stories about how in his household you weren't allowed to be sick. Like sickness was seen as a weakness. So it's just interesting. Like there it is, right? It's like, I'm not allowed to ask for help. I'm not allowed to be helpless. I'm not allowed to be in need. Helplessness is dangerous. Helplessness is annihilation. Helplessness is getting wiped out. So let me just act like I got all the answers. So, with all that said, maybe I'll just leave you with these questions about your own relationship to the places in you that need help, your own relationship to a sense of helplessness. Do you know where you need help? Are you willing to ask for help? Do you feel safe to ask for help? And are you willing to receive help? Where does needing help take you inside yourself? Whew. All right, you guys. Well, that was a journey. I hope this took you somewhere. Always love to hear from you. If you have your own insights or anything you just want to share about what came up for you, you're always free to email me or DM me. I love hearing from you guys. I will always take it in. I will always be a witness. And as always, follow me on Instagram for some exclusive content you won't get anywhere else. Jamie Stein, JamieStein. You can always check out my website to learn more about my work. I will be back soon to decode more dramas and see where it wants to take us as individuals and as a collective. And until then, I am here with you as we all are. And I will see you on the flip side. Bye.